Hey everyone, today I wanted to talk about the Lightseeker tier units and the guide for the priority of their runes. The Lightseeker units fall under this category, so these are all the Lightseeker units that you can get, and today I'm going to cover all of them. So starting off, we have Halisa, and she's the number one priority. And I'm going to try to explain each hero and why, so this video might be a bit longer than the usual videos. But it should cover an entire season and future seasons, I hope. So the first hero, Halisa, she's one of the best Lightseeker heroes in the game. She's on par with some legendary tier heroes, and her runes provide the Monarch extra 500% HP to Monarchs. So Halisa and Monarch synergy mates increase their HP by max by 500%. Now, why is this important? In PvP, you want monarchs to have more HP so they can scale better with their damage increase. This only happens if you deploy 4 or plus monarchs, so that's also quite important when deploying heroes with Halisa. Now, where will you use these runes? So these runes, you will use them mainly in PvP, and it's pretty much all the times. Halisa is used on the top tier PvP teams, such as Avengers, Dooms, or any variation of these two. She can be used even outside of them as a buffer for Elisha Pandora team, so you have 3 monarchs there as well. Pair her with Leviathan, that's for 4 monarchs. Apart from the PvP, you are also going to use her runes in the PvE. In which PvE? Well, that's Lost City for the Verdians, Lost City for the Dooms, Lost City for the Shadow Archs, maybe not the Verdians. It's useful early, but really goes away later. But there is a Lost City Verdian lineup that uses the same lineup as Palace of Penrose, which includes Merlin, Doris, Leviathan, Aphrodite, and Halisa. So you have monarchs which are based on stealing the Phantom Illusion unit and then reflecting back all the damage from that Phantom Illusion unit. So that's a cheesy team that works even up to 500 floors in the Lost City, and works up to 15,000 floors in the Palace of Penrose. Because of this, Halisa is my number one priority. She's useful everywhere, all the times, even if the early game, even in the late game. Now let me talk about how you should approach getting the legendary runes for the Lightseeker units. So you should never actually purchase legendary runes from the shop. They cost 200 per rune, I think, or 100. Nonetheless, it's a very big waste to spend your rune coins, to spend your legendary rune coins on Lightseeker units. They are not as rare, and they're not as hard to get, because every season you get a plentiful of evolve ores, which you can use to evolve epic runes to legendary runes. You will be getting those evolve ores from various sources, such as guild challenges, Rift Odyssey, or if you purchase the seasonal pass, you get 5,000. That's basically 2 legendary runes, which is absolutely worth it every season to get. So the way you're going to approach this is you're going to buy epic runes for Halisa and then slowly evolve her into legendary. You're going to take the same approach for the Doris. You're going to purchase Doris epic runes and evolve them into legendary. However, I would not suggest buying Doris epic runes until you can fully evolve her, because at epics she's just 50% chance to reflect the damage, whereas at legendary she's at 100%. And that brings us to the next hero, which is going to be Doris. So next hero on the tier list is Doris, and Doris legendary runes have been a staple. They have been required even in the Rift Odyssey in Season 2. They are very unique runes, and they are very, very strong. You will use them in the same scenarios that you use Halisa in, except in PvP, they are in different various teams, although they can be used in the same team. But in PvE, you will use her in the same teams that you will use Halisa in, except in Shadow Arch in Lost City. But yeah, you will need legendary runes. You definitely don't want epics on her. You want the Supreme Woodland Reflect runes on her, but if you can't get Supreme, then I'd suggest just getting unique Dojo runes on her. Otherwise, Supreme is her ideal slot. So again, the same approach for Halisa. Buy epic runes, evolve into legendary. Never buy legendary runes for Lightseeker units. That's the number one rule that should be followed by everyone. So next up on the list is Emily. Emily, I only put her here because of Tsukuyomi. Suki with Emily is one of the stronger early game combos, and I think actually Atropus could be first before Emily. But yeah, let's talk about Emily. So for Emily, you do not need legendary runes. You can just buy epic runes and she can stay epic forever. You do not need the fortitude or whatever she brings at legendary. You can pretty much ignore that and just give her epic. Her epic is completely enough. It applies 5 extra corrode stacks, which greatly benefits Tsuki from the stealing flat stats. So this is pretty insane in the early game. It falls off late game, but Emily doesn't fall off really. She's still a great hero. It's just Tsuki that falls. Emily is still useful for one-shotting heroes when paired with Odin, for example, due to corrode, not having to deal with the holy shields. You will use Emily in PvP, you will use Emily in PvE, especially in the Lost City, not in Penrose or other things, but in Lost City. The Shadow Archers, she's great with Tsuki up to like floors 400. So yeah, she's great and she's very cheap. Next up on the list is Atropus, or maybe before it's Emily. It's up to you whether you have Tsuki or not. I think you will likely get that. Atropus first. So about Atropus, her runes actually don't do anything. Her runes are pretty terrible and bad. But the reason why you want her runes is because you can get the extra stats from the exclusive runes. You can also get the rune stats, which is the main reason you're even getting them. The unique passive doesn't matter, so you can ignore it. Although 25% to apply stun is decent, since Atropus is a fast hero, but you do not need to worry about that. You just want 4 epic runes for the substats, so you can increase her attack and pledge bonuses. I'm using the crit resistance because she converts it to the attack, but using attack is just fine on all 4 of them pretty much. Or you can split it like here, increase the effect of baptism by 29%. So this is the only reason why you want the Atropus runes, to have a better and stronger pledge. Apart from that, you will just use her in PvE like you have been before. She falls off in PvP because she's not really strong, and pledge in PvP is not really needed or exceptional. She's still used even in late game. Atropus is amazing hero from early to late game. You will be using her probably until Hela comes or until they release 3-man Rift Odyssey teams. Next up on the list is Lancelot, and Lancelot is pretty good early to mid-game hero. He falls off slowly, not a lot, just a small tiny bit in the late game, but there are people that still run him. It's not like he falls off completely, that he's unusable, because people are still running him. The real reason why I want his legendary runes is because he has 40% chance to apply the Phantom Illusion effect on his action. So he's basically a Phantom Illusion hero, just requires a rune to have the effect. I mean, he's usable without the runes in Mystifier teams, but you really want the runes. So again, how do you approach them? You purchase the epic runes, you evolve them later. You do not buy the legendary runes. You want the dodge runes because you want him to live as long as possible to have higher chances of applying the Phantom Illusion effect. You will use him in Palace of Penrose, although if you use him with Woods, or rather, if you use him with Wu Zetian, he is pretty bad, as if he steals instead of Wu Zetian, she will lose the protection effect, so do not run him with Wu Zetian, in my opinion. Other than that, you will use him in the Dawnbringer's Lost City, you will use him in the Palace of Penrose, and you will use him in the PvP. So next up on the list is Dorabella, and Dorabella, while she was great, she slowly fell off because of Pandora. There's no real reason to actually run Dorabella anymore anywhere because Pandora replaced her in every single trial. She was quite a unique hero that had I mean, she still has unique runes. Nobody has the same effect on their runes like she does, but she's just been power creeped, and it's alright because it's been far too long where she has been one of the strongest heroes that can deal with high HP bosses. She was used in Rift Odyssey quite a lot. She was in Forgotten Lands, the boss that the Crystal Golem, I think it was the only possible way to push with her. So I think she's still worthy to have. You can just get her epics. I wouldn't upgrade to legendary just because she's not as used anymore as she was, but I will still keep an epics on her just in case there's a content that will require her. But you can also skip her. I do not think she's a necessity, so but it's completely skippable as of the current state in the game. So next up on the list is Navi, and Navi, she's similar to Dorabella pretty much. She's still great, but not as great as she used to. She's living on her old fame, and you actually don't really have to get her runes. They're pretty nice because she's one of the heroes that you are constantly using in the Lost City for Wordians, and she does quite a decent chunk of damage. Her epics are enough, but if you can get her legendary for the 100% chance to apply the death reduction, I think it's pretty worth it. But yeah, she's usable in PvP still if you have no better heroes. People around her, even in the last season, due to Burst Magma set, which she was great with. So she has potential to come back anytime. You will use her anywhere pretty much. She still holds her ground, but she falls off at the later stages, so she's still usable to the state where she was released, basically up to like season 2. Now we are going to move on to the PvP list. So these heroes are purely for PvP. You will not need their runes for any PvE improvement. So once you're done with the heroes that I mentioned before, you're pretty much done with any PvE and you're moving forwards to the PvP, which is the late game content. So the first on the list is obviously Mavis, the queen of the PvP. She's likely the best EVE hero that has been released. There is no hero that can match that. Maybe Halisa, but that's about it. So she matches the strength of a legendary hero basically. Some people say actually you should run attack runes, although I do not see the point of having crit rate on her. I would much rather have extra dodge, which converts to attack, so I'm running supreme dodge runes. Her epics are enough, you do not need to have her legendary, but like she's the best PvP hero in the game from the Light Seekers, so you might as well evolve her. There's absolutely no reason to not evolve her. So next up on the list is Alice. I actually think Alice is useful in the Verdian's Lost City for the survival because of her shields. So she's not purely PvP, she has her niche in PvE, mainly Lost City. But yeah, her PvP is amazing in the first and second week of the Foggy because of the increased shields. And her shields are pretty nasty, especially with her legendary runes. So I think she's absolutely worth it to pick up. I will be getting her next week, so I will be testing her further. But in theory, I believe she's absolutely worth to be picked up. So yeah, apart from PvP, you can use her in the Lost City for Verdian survival. And her PvP is mainly Foggy 1 and Foggy 2. She's pretty good in a tournament with Audrey. Pair her with Audrey because of the increased and shared shields from her. And you will very likely want to run dodge on her, but I can see also PvP doing a decent job. She has pretty nice damage, so you will likely run either dodge or DPS on her, but I'm leaning more towards dodge. So next up on the list is Persephone. You will use Persephone in a PvP environment where dodge is pretty much constant. So Persephone in previous seasons was useful, but not to the degree where you would actually want to run her. But this season she is actually one of the best PvP heroes in the game, because there's no accuracy stat in the accessory substats, so her legendary runes are amazing. After she dodges attack, she has 100% chance to stun 2 random enemies for 1 round. So this triggers pretty much every time, because she dodges like crazy and you fully want her legendary runes for PvP. You will use her in World Arena and very likely in Foggy. A lot of people do run her in Foggy, she's pretty great, but keep in mind that if accuracy ever comes back, she will fall down a tier or 2. So next up on the list is Albert. Albert is pretty great. He has Avengers and Monarch, which is the reason why he's being played in World Arena. Not so much in Foggy anymore, but he was pretty decently played in last and previous seasons. Now it's mainly World Arena as a filler in Avenger teams, because Avengers and Monarchs is a pretty amazing synergy, and his runes are amazing, because he will apply Pessimism, which stops enemies from using the active skills. It's just 50% chance, but that chance is pretty much enough to make him usable. So you want full legendary, nothing in between. He also removes illusion. Illusion is a pretty niche effect that can destroy your team, but nobody is still running it. I think it will get picked up more in the future. But yeah, as of right now, he's pure PvP and he's pure legendary. You want dodge runes on him. The unique doesn't matter much, so just get him to the dodge runes and legendary and slap him with Aphrodite and Mavis, and he will do the job. This video is going to be a part 1, and I will be releasing part 2 sometime in the future when I will have time to make it. As of right now, I have a kind of busy schedule in the real life, and making guides, updating the sheet, and all of that is kind of a lot of work, so I'm just taking it slow. So yeah, basically this is the first part, which I consider to be the more important part, and the second part will come out whenever I have more time. Hopefully you have learned something, and I will see you in the next video.